Welcome back folks for another video on what's coming up next for World of Tanks. Now I already talked about the nerf for the KV-1S shifting from a tier 6 heavy tank to a tier 5 heavy tank as demonstrated here. And I also talked about the KV-85 and the stats for that tank on one of my past videos. But today I want to talk about what will happen to the KV-1S and the stats for the new KV-1S. Alright, you can see here are the fully upgraded KV-1S at tier 5. Now this looks exactly the same as a default stock version of a KV-1S at tier 6 with the stock turret instead of the Josef Stalin turret that features the 122mm cannon. Now if you compare this armor with the current KV-1S, the armors are the same with 82mm of turret armor at the front, 75mm of hull armor at the front, 60 hull armor at the sides, 75mm of turret armor at the sides, and 60 rear armor at the hull, and 75 rear armor at the turret. So basically if you compare this to a KV-1, you can see that the KV-1 has the same frontal hull armor at 75mm, but has a better turret armor of 110 instead of 82. Side armor is also increased by 15mm instead of 60, now it's 75. Side of the turret is also 110. The rear is also very thicker than the 60mm. At the bottom is 70mm, and the turret is 40ish, or not 40, 110, 40ish on the little machine gun port. So basically the KV-1 is still a heavy armored version of the KV-1S, like what it is in historical archives and whatnot. So basically it's based on historical accuracy. The KV-1S is a shaved down version of the KV-1 with the reduced armor and a better engine to make that the KV-1S could shift better than the KV-1. Alright, here are the armaments for the KV-1S at tier 5. We see that we do get the T-28 medium tank's 76mm cannon. We also get the KV-1's 122mm howitzer as well as the Top Gun, the 85mm. The DPM on the 85mm is the same DPM as the KV-1's 85mm, so the guns are the same for the KV-1S as well as the KV-1, DPM wise as well as the rate of fire. Accuracy and aim time are also the same, so there's no difference between the accuracy and aim time. What is different is the gun depression is only 3 degrees, the gun elevation is only 5 degrees. So basically, according to Wargaming, this is historically accurate, so you cannot point this gun downwards as much as you want to, as well as point it upwards. So this tank is a more of a flanking heavy tank instead of a corner fighting heavy tank like the KV-1. Now if you look at tank inspector, we can see that the KV-1 has way better gun depression at 7 degrees of gun depression and 24 degrees of gun elevation, which means that the KV-1 will have a better time hauling down and using cover like hills or rubbish or garbage or garbage to cover up the hull armor and point the gun downwards. So basically this will have a better time instead of the -3 degrees on the KV-1S. Now according to history, the KV-1S is a shaved down version of the KV-1. This is demonstrated by the reduced weight of 5 tons in comparison between the KV-1S and the KV-1. The KV-1S also has 100 more horsepower in the engines, giving it better horsepower to weight ratio. Now also turns better by 10 more degrees, has 20 more HP, and has 10 more meters of view range. So if you comparison to the KV-1S to the KV-1, we can see that we have better engine, better specific power, better traverse, and somewhat better resistance on hard terrain or soft terrain. And better view range. So that means the KV-1S will be a better brawler instead of the KV-1, whereas the KV-1 has a better gun depression and gun elevation, meaning that this tank can hold a corner better than KV-1S, and better side armor as well. So all in all, the KV-1S will play more like a flanking heavy tank instead of a corner stopping heavy tank like the KV-1. So it is gonna be more comparison between the current IS-3 to the KV-4. So basically the armor and the shifting between these two tanks are demonstrating of the two types of heavy tanks you can play from the Russians. The heavy line with the KVs, and the light lines with the IS. So basically in comparison, like the IS in comparison to the KV-3, the KV-1S at tier 5 is the same type of playability or playstyle in comparison to KV-1. So the metaphor between these, or comparison between these two tanks, are pretty much the same now. So one is a light heavy tank, one is a heavy tank. So the KV-1S will perform better as a flanking heavy tank or a shifting heavy tank, like the IS, like the IS-3, like the IS-8, in comparison to the KV-1 tanks, or KV-3 or KV-4. So that's how mostly it will play out. Now, this tank does need a nerf, in my opinion, because if you look at the global statistics for World of Games, we can see that the most favored tanks on most of the server is the KV-1S. That means the KV-1S is way too overpowered, as well as the KV-1 in my opinion. The KV-1 is a very good tier 5 tank. China has a different favorite tank, the Type 59, but we'll discuss this later in another episode, because Chinese servers, you can actually buy the Type 59 normally within the premium shop, and it's probably become pay to win with this tank because this tank is overpowered. So that's why Wargaming stopped selling Type 59s within the premium shop, because of how overpowered this tank is. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like it if you like it, obviously. Subscribe if you haven't. And subscribe if you want more, because I will post up more of these leak or informative, I'm sorry, my mouth is parched, informative videos soon, as well as I'll post up more stuff like tank reviews, as well as like best lists, such as best DPM tanks as the best opinionated tanks within the game. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.